Learning a new foreign language can be very difficult if you're not really having any kind of milestones, you don't know where to start from, and then what most people start doing is they start going to YouTube and they start looking for information which might help them. Now, for me, what I personally find very interesting, and the focus that we have also had when we were making the faster German courses on Big Academy, we already have level A1, A2, B1 and B2 now. We make sure that you are having some kind of milestones, because if you're able to checkbox these kind of milestones, what happens is you get this feeling of progress, and it gives you more confidence of reading more complicated things, learning more complicated words, things like that, which in the end boosts your German learning. In this video, I want to share with you at what kind of different number of words you're able to understand X% of text, and also at 1 level, 2 level, so A1, A2 and so on, what kind of words you somewhat need to know in order to be at that level. Let's start with the very basic one, which is the A1 level. Now, A1 level is just for beginners. This is a level in which you are saying, hello, hi, my name is this, I want to eat this, things like that, very basic things. At this level, you just need to know around 500 words. Also, for all of these levels, you can plus or minus 20%, because there's of course a difference in what kind of text you're reading, and that kind of accounts for that variation. So A1 500 words, A2 a little bit more longer words, more grammar. Here you need to know 1000 words. At B1 you need to know 2000 words. At B2 you need to know 4000 words. At C1 8000 words, and at C2 some people claim 10,000 plus words, just like the chart we also showed you previously. I think it was from, I don't remember the university name, but they had these levels A1 to A2, B1, B2, C1, and then C1 and C2, the difference was very small. Of course, these are all universities. They do not put out unscientific charts. So that was very, very relevant to what you're seeing here right now. So like every single time the effort gets doubled up to the C1 level, but from C1 to C2, it is just a matter of adding more vocabulary. So like I said, at C2 level, some people say it's 10,000 plus words. Others say it's 16,000 words just by simply multiplying the 8,000. But that does not really fit that well, because according to studies from Nation and Laufa, you see that the number of words that you need to know to understand X% of a text is different. Now, all of these concepts I got used to when I was learning Russian myself, because Russian being one of the most difficult languages, I really started using frequency lists. Frequency lists are generally dictionaries in which you are listing out the words on the basis of how many times it appears in a collection of different kind of texts, or audio material, reading material, things like that. So they make a list, they gather different kind of magazines, different kind of newspapers over the last few years, and then they make a frequency list with that. So that is also something that I personally found very helpful, and I can also agree to what they're saying in the next part of this video. Here we speak about the important language milestones. If you are learning around 1000 words, so this puts you to the A2 level. At A2 level, you're able to understand somewhat around 80% of what is being written in ordinary text. Ordinary text means there is no specific vocabulary related to university, no technical terms, things like that. Things that everyday people talk about. So you're able to understand 80% of that with 1000 words. But this is not really enough, because the last 20% makes a whole difference. And I can give you an example for this. I went to the blank to buy blank, but they told me that they couldn't blank. So if you see these kind of areas where just 20% of the words are missing, but you're not really able to figure out the sentence. And I also struggled with that at the A2. I can understand the verbs, I can understand the basic phrases when I was learning German, but it didn't really help me that well. And that's why it is always important to push for the next levels and next levels, because if you put so much time and effort inside just to get to an A1 level, man, A1 level is the most easy, but at the same time the most difficult thing, because you're getting used to a new language, right? And you also have to remember one more thing. This is a very important thing, and you should write it down or just plaster in your minds. Every single time you learn a new word, just know that the next time you're reading a text, there will be one less word you'll be looking in the dictionary for. And that accumulates massively over time, because as soon as you're done with the first 1000 words, most 1000 common words, reading becomes so much easier, understanding things become so much easier. You have this frequency list. This is the most repeated word. If you understand that most repeated word, you're able to understand second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. And this is also how exactly the different levels are divided. Nobody is going to give you very technical vocabulary in the starting itself, right? Now we come to the second stage. At the second milestone, we talk about 3,000 words. If you know about 3,000 words, this is a little bit above or halfway above the B1 level. You're able to understand almost 95% of ordinary text, which is massive. This means this is a place where you can start communicating with people, start understanding things, but with some difficulty. The stage which comes after that is 5,000 words. Now 5,000 words means already a level between B2 and C1. This is also the level where we speak about in test staff, because test staff never says I'm at B2 level or C1 level. They always say B2 C1 test. So this is exactly the place where you start understanding 98% of the words, and this is more than enough for you to now start studying in a university and things like that. And then comes the last milestone, which is with 10,000 words. This is somewhere around the C1 plus level, or you can say C2 level, where you are able to understand almost 99% of the ordinary text. 1% will always be missing because you are always learning new things. There will never be a stage in your language learning process where you're able to understand everything 100%. But I really believe that the minimum you should really be aiming for is at least, like, understanding 95% of the things. Like, at least once you come to the 3,000 word stage. 3,000 word stage means you have finished B1 and you're going to B2. This is a great stage to be at, because not only are you able to make use of all of the time that you also spent learning A1 and A2. Because look, never stop at A1 and A2. If you stop at A1, if you stop at A2, it's just useless. Like, whatever time you've spent previously, it makes no sense. You will not forget those words, but it will get rusty, and you will not really be able to use them in everyday situations, in your job interviews, and speaking to some kind of public authorities, or speaking to the universities, or let alone when you're going for travel somewhere. You meet so many German tourists and stuff. Like, just kind of having a conversation with them and stuff, that's so much fun. I always, for example, recently I was going to a notary appointment. I'm right now in Bucharest, Romania, and I was in a notary appointment, and turns out the translator, in the end, when she was giving me her number, she said that you can save it for English and Russian translation. As soon as she said Russian translation, I was so happy, and I started speaking with her in Russian, whatever broken Russian I have. And of course, you have everybody else around you, which are all like, like, what kind of language are they all of a sudden speaking? Because so far it was me who is not understanding any Romanian, but all of a sudden it's like I'm able to speak to somebody who is half Russian, and it was such a nice feeling. So I'm telling you, like, you see a big fat smile on my face, but this is for a reason, and I'm going to tell you that this is exactly what you also experience when you get to speak to somebody from another community which nobody else is able to understand, and that becomes your secret language. Push for it. Don't stop at A1, don't stop at A2. It makes no sense whatsoever, because the minimum that you need in order to use the fruits of whatever kind of efforts you have put inside so far in your language learning is the minimum B1. Once you do minimum B1, B2 becomes easier, and once you have done B2, like, that's already a perfectly great stage to be at, right? But never stop at A1 and A2. So this is something that I wanted to share in this video, because you need to understand these milestones. Once you understand these milestones, you're able to see what kind of levels you want to go for. If you want to start learning German, we have the most affordable courses that you can learn German from, built together with native German speakers on Big Academy. Not just that, we also have other language learning resources like 100+ daily German conversations. This is the most affordable thing that you can actually get. It's just 199 Indian rupees, and with that you get around 111 German conversations, and these are made for the levels from A1 to B1. With this, you're already covering your first 3,000 words very nicely. So you can go through these kind of lists which are already available on Big Academy. We have proper German levels made with Goethe exam preparations, things like that. All of the links for that I will leave in the description below. If you have any kind of questions whatsoever, I'm always happy to respond to you. Just let me know in the comments below. See you in the next video. Bye.